Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Just Saying Football with Jack and Sean. I'm your host, Sean Gann, alongside my partner, Jack and Nicholas. We're here to bring you news, notes, weekly updates, and game analysis of your favorite teams from around the league. Now, the chance, go check out our website, justsayingfootball.com. Follow us on Instagram at justsayingNoGWJS for article and video updates. And don't forget to check us out on Spotify at Just Saying Football. Get us in your ears. We can be there. It's week 12. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving, Sean.
Happy holidays to everyone. We have a great slate of football this week 12 for Thursday, dude.
Yeah, and it kicks off with a triple header on Thursday. So our Thursday Night Football video, obviously, as you can tell, is going to be a little bit more meaty this week. A little more turkey.
A little bit longer, because we got to kick off at 12:30 p.m. Eastern when the Buffalo Bills make their way to Detroit again this time to take on the Lions. Currently, Buffalo is favored by -9, over-under this one of 54. As everyone remembers, because of the weather increments last week, Buffalo was in Detroit as the home team. They now return as the away team.
In
this one.
back-to-back weeks for them hanging out in Detroit. But, man, they got a different opponent this week. When it comes down to the Detroit Lions compared to the Cleveland Browns last week, it's going to probably be a little bit more of an air attack against Buffalo. Buffalo on the road, but like you said, has been remaining comfortable there for the last couple weeks, which has to give you some kind of a confidence, along with the fact that this is the second highest scoring offense, coming in against the worst scoring defense in Detroit. Detroit's allowing about 28 points a game. Buffalo about scoring that. Who do you like more in this one, and why?
I mean, I like Buffalo in this one just because the way that team plays. You know, they are arguably one of the best teams in football, if not the best team in all of football right now. Diggs, him and Sean McDermott had that moment on the sideline. He recovered and instantly got back in the end zone for a touchdown. Didn't drop the ball that one. But they got to be worried a little bit about Jamal Williams and DeAndre Swift, who can score the ball at all times.
Absolutely.
But I'm definitely locking in the Bills with this one. I just think that last week what we saw from Josh Allen, he's right back on track to his MVP form. And leads the team to a potential playoff run, or Super Bowl run, I mean.
Yeah, and even though Detroit, we say sometimes that guys like, Jeff Okudah are playing well, and Malcolm Rodriguez, Aiden Hutchinson all playing well in the Detroit defense, it may just not be enough this week. Buffalo, especially on the short week, I see them running a lot with Singletary, James Cook. Nyheim Hines was getting involved a lot last week. And that's really why they traded for him. They made that trade to create a lot more creativity on their offense. And both of these offenses, at least, are fun to watch. Both top 3 ranked when it comes to Buffalo, at least, with the third best passing attack. So I'm expecting both these teams to have to air it out. The game script for Detroit to be that they have to score a lot of points. And Jamal Williams, just want to mention, like you said, he's going to be a factor. 3 touchdowns last week, leading the NFL with 12. Despite that, I do believe it's Buffalo's game to lose. Detroit at home on Thanksgiving, this is like their Super Bowl, but
Really
I don't know, man. They are 37-43 all time on Thanksgiving. Kind of crazy that they've been playing since 1934.
I know Super Bowls during that time.
And Super Bowls in that time.
I feel that pain as well. I also think, sadly, that will be 44, not 43 this time on those Lost Cowboys. But let's move this along. So you have your New York Giants making their way to Dallas to take on the Cowboys at 4:30 p.m. this Thanksgiving. Dallas is currently favored by -9, similar to the Buffalo Bills. 44.5 point over-under on this one. What are your thoughts? Dallas Cowboys coming off dominating win against the Vikings.
Do we even go into that, Sean, or do we just leave it in the past?
You can just leave it in the past.
We'll leave it in the past. I think last week, obviously Dallas coming off the 43 win against the Vikings. The Giants losing to the Lions, who we just talked about, aren't really the best defending team. So the Giants, they're going up against the Dallas Cowboys, who have one of the best defenses in the league, if not 2 of the best defensive pass rusher duos in DeMarcus Lawrence and Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
And, Trayvon Diggs playing great in the backfield. How do you feel about my Giants this week before I go in and give my biased opinion on
I think what worries you more about last week wasn't just the loss. It was the injuries that came about with the loss. Yeah. You're a Giants fan missing, Wanda Robinson out for the year with a torn ACL, the rookie wide receiver, Adoree Jackson out for 4 to 6 weeks with a knee injury, John Valencia knee injury, Bellinger out with an injury. Just the injury is piled up for the Giants in this one. That's not what you want to see on a short week, playing a division opponent, playoff hopes on the line.
On the road. It
just all begins to build and build and build. I have to go with the Cowboys on this one. They played a really dominant game last week, 7 sacks against the Vikings. They didn't allow more than 106 passing yards for them. That worries me after a game where Daniel Jones really struggled. It looked like Daniel Jones back to rookie season, and the struggling continue. And that's not what you want to see coming into this game.
Yeah, for me it was, in the Texans game 2 weeks ago, you saw the Giants approach with, we need to get with Saquon, we need to give him 35 rushes a game, we need to be able to rely on that rushing anchor and be able to manipulate the game script. Sean talks about it every week, about how the teams that come out of nowhere and win these games that you don't expect them to are good running teams. And the Giants are a good running team, but right now it's a tough matchup against, like you said, with the defense. But the Cowboys offense, since Dak has been back, 28 points a game, and then last, in 5 starts and a pair of touchdowns for both their running backs last week against the Vikings. If the Giants are going to have to control the clock, they're going to have to go over this Tony Pollard and Zeke Hill that, teams are going to have to be dealing with this season. Tony Pollard is not to be overlooked, by defenses this year, even with Zeke coming back, easing in. The Cowboys haven't really lost a step. And, like you mentioned, that injuries to the Giants receiving core has definitely killed their momentum. So I will go with Dallas. I think with the short week, the Giants can keep it close on the spread. I like the 44.5 over-under. I think these defenses may be a little off their edge, but Dallas less than the Giants this week. So I will go with Dallas.
All right, I like that. Let's move this along into our last game on Thanksgiving. When the New England Patriots make their way to Minnesota to take on my Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota's favored in this one by -3, 41.5 point over-under. On this one, Vikings 7-game win streak was snapped last week in an embarrassing loss. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, we got to look towards the future. I mean, you got to have one of those games that, just throw your schedule off a little bit. I feel like both of our teams felt that, losing games that, we felt pretty confident in them in. Basically, the one thing is this is another tough defense for Kirk Cousins on this offense that, This is one of those things that if they were playing a very much easier team, we would feel really, really confident in this Vikings offense. We would say this is a week for them to get it right. They're going to keep looking ahead. But Belichick doesn't really let people do that with the Patriots. The defense looked great last week against the Jets. I think there was a stat that the Patriots defense allowed, something like 5 inches of play in the second half.
Yep.
I'm like... it's a game of inches, yes, but not that many inches. I think this week the Vikings give them a lot more trouble, obviously, than the Jets did last week. But it's tough defense, man. Matt Judon leading the league right now, and it's not a guy. Kirk Cousins, you mentioned, sacked 7 times last week. So how do they overcome that hump?
Well, it's going to be difficult because our star left tackle Christian Darrisaw will be out in this one with a concussion, so that means Matt Judon will have an opportunity to feast. Micah Parsons had a great opening start to the game where he literally forced a fumble off a sack, able to convert for 3, and that's not the start that the Vikings can get again at home. So I'm worried about Matt Judon. I think he's going to be a huge game changer with no Darrisaw there. I think that's an opportunity for him to go against our backup left tackle, Brandel, and take over and really kind of change the pace of this game. They got great pressure last week, the Cowboys did.
Yeah.
And that's the recipe in Kirk Cousins' face, make him rattle, make him make mistakes, and that was evident last week. I'm going with the Patriots. I think that their defense and their scheme right now is going to be a difficult one for the Vikings to overcome offensive. We didn't make the adjustments that we needed to slow down Micah Parsons or DeMarcus Lawrence, so I don't know if we can do that against Matt Judon as well.
Yeah, and the Patriots, it seems like they just have had guys on this team that you may not call all-stars, but they know this defense better than anybody. They've played in this defense for multiple years. We've seen people transition in and out of this team, and we're seeing that now. This defense is really carrying it. Fun fact, not so fun for you, but New England 5-0 since 2002, but this will be the first time in 5 matchups where they're playing Mac Jones and not Tom Brady.
That's a nice change of pace.
Which is a nice change of pace. What about JJ? Last week, season low, 5 targets. How are you feeling about him? It's prime time.
Definitely going to get more than that in this one.
How much does he eat on Thanksgiving?
I think he's going to get about 10 targets. I'll say 7 receptions, 95 and a tutty.
Like that. Only
I like
70% catch rate. That's nice.
Yeah, 3 of them. 2 of them will be contested. 1 of them might just be a bad one.
Yeah, he's going up against a pretty tough secondary.
Exactly.
Already out there.
Got to give him some credit.
But I gotta say, I do like the Vikings in this. They're at home. They have to have some sort of game plan that was cooked up that they left at home last week. But man, I like them in this one. It's gonna be a tough battle. They are favored by 3. I think that they cover that as well.
Yeah, well, let's see if they can put up more than 3 this week. All right, that's all the time that we have. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah, thank you guys for checking us out. Just Saying Football. Remember to check us out on YouTube and Spotify under that. Just Saying with no G, WJS on Instagram for all your updates And check us out, justsayingfootball.com, to get all your videos. Thank you guys for checking us out.
Enjoy.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy holidays.